All right, ladies and gentlemen, programmers, part 13, lucky number 13. Okay, so we're going to do some bad guy artificial intelligence. He's going to shoot bullets. Okay, so shooting bullets part 1. So this, we need to build a bullet class that moves and eats the good guy. And then if it hits a wall or platform, the bullet is removed. Okay, so that's the first step. So all you have to do is make a new class called bullet or enemy bullet, give it a picture, and then when you add it to it, we're going to hit run, and then when this guy hits the platform, it disappears. Okay, that's good. And then when this guy hits our good guy, it kills him. All right, so that's the first step. Build a bullet, do that, and that should be pretty easy because you should know how to do some of this. All right, so look what we're going to do. We're going to have and the bullet extends the jumper. We have speed. We have is alive. This is important. Otherwise, you're going to get some crashes. Okay, so we have our constructor. Speed equals 7. Alive. He's alive. Rotation. Skip that for now. We'll talk about that later. Set the image, and then I had to scale the image. You may or may not have to. Okay, and then look, and the act is move. Look for Nacho. Look for platforms, and remove at edge. Okay, so look for Nacho if the bullet is still alive, and you can see Nacho, eat Nacho, the bullet is no longer alive, and remove this. And then look for platforms. You're going to do this for platforms and walls and everything else. If he's alive and you can see a platform, he's no longer alive, get world.remove object this, you're removing the bullet. And remove at edge if he's alive and he's at the edge of the world, remove object this. Okay, make that happen real quick, and then come back and start watching the next part of this video, which is part 2. Shoot a bullet, part 2. The bad guy shoots and it moves in the right direction. Okay, so the first thing we're going to need to do is we need to go to our bad guy, because our bad guy is actually going to shoot the bullets. So we need our instance variables. So we have our gun counter and our gun delay. So when the counter gets up to the delay, he's going to try to fire. Alright, so let's look at the act method. We have this thing here called fire. Okay, so there's our code for fire. Let's see what that's going to look like. We're going to go Control F. We're going to go next. Okay, so if the gun, so we're going to say gun counter plus plus. So as soon as the gun counter is greater than the delay. Alright, now this is where it gets really tricky. Oh, I didn't want to talk about all this yet. Well, let's just do the whole thing. All right, let's do the whole thing. Look, okay. So here's the deal. We need our guy to find Nacho, and if he's facing Nacho, and he's close enough to Nacho, we're going to fire. Okay. So we have this thing called list, and before we continue any further, you're gonna have to import this list. Alright, where is it at? Yeah, so import, we gotta make sure we can see it. Import java.utility.list. You gotta import it. So basically what it does is it just makes a list of all the objects. Let's see if we can find that fire again. Okay, so we're gonna say, basically saying, I want to make a list, or let's say this is just like a box that holds multiple things, right? Called Nacho list. The only kind of things that can go on this list are nachos, and it's a list. Okay, and what we're going to assign it. We're going to put something into it, and we're going to use this method called get neighbors. So that basically says, hey, find everybody within a circle of 300 pixels. Okay, so every nacho within 300 pixels goes on this list. Okay, and this tells it that it has to be of nacho. Okay, so we're getting all the nachos in a range, and we're putting them in here. Now the problem is if your character is, let's say, is right here, and there's a nacho up here, well, it's going to get on the list, but we don't want him to fire because he's going to fire right or left, and he's not going to fire up at that nacho. So we've got to do a little bit more work. Okay, so we have this: if the nacho list is not empty, so you actually did find at least one nacho. In our case, we only have one nacho on the screen. So if you found a nacho, okay, so then this gets kind of crazy. What this is going to do is nacho is not too high or too low. Okay, so we want to make sure he's not too high or low. So if we say nacho list dot get 0, so basically you're taking the 0 means the first nacho on your list. So if you had found 3 nachos, we're going to fire only at the first one. So if nacho list dot get 0, get our first nacho, and Nacho's Y is less than our bad guy's Y plus 25, and the Nacho list I get 0, so the first Nacho on the list got what? So basically it's checking, comparing Nacho versus, hey, is he way up here? Then we don't do it. If he's way down here, we won't fire. All right, so we got past that. And then we're saying if H speed, so if our bad guy's H speed is less than 0, so that, or greater than 0, that means he's moving right, and Nacho.get 0, Nacho list.get 0, so get the Nacho.get X is greater than your X, or, so that stands for or. So basically what this is doing is if you're looking right, Nacho can't be far to the right, or if you're looking left, Nacho's not too far to the left. Okay, so that's what that code does. So basically what we've said is this. So your gun counter got past the delay. You got it. You got all the Nachos. You've decided, all right, I did find one Nacho. Nacho's not too high or too low. Nacho's not too far to the right or to the left. Then finally we're going to fire. So we're going to say we're going to make a local variable called rotation, and if you're going right, the rotation equals 0, so our bullet's going to move to the right. Otherwise, if your H speed is less than 0, you're moving left. You're going to set the rotation to 180. And finally, here we go, get world.addObject, new bullet, and we're sending the rotation. We're going to say, hey, you're either going to go 0 or 180. And we're going to place him at our bad guy's current X and current Y. We're going to play a sound, and we're going to set the gun counter back to 0. Now, this is going to cause an error. This will work, except for it's going to cause an error in our enemy bullet, and let's see why. We have to adjust the constructor because we're sending it the rotation. Okay, so when you say public bullet, you have to say int rotation, so you're going to send it either 0 or 180, and you're going to set his current rotation to rotation. Now the bullet is going to shoot the direction you're facing. So we're only going to shoot the bullet if we're close to the good guy, and our bad guy is going to fire the bullet in the correct direction. Okay, so here's what it's supposed to, I think that's it, right? Yeah, let's keep this. This is the bullet. Let's keep looking. Yeah, we already looked at all this. All right, so let's take a look and see how it should work. We're going to reset it, and it should work a little something like this. There's going to be a delay. I'm going to hit pause. So the delay has been long enough, so actually I'm going to put it down here. Okay, so this guy is going to, he's going to come towards me, and when he gets close enough, and kill me. Okay, that is it for, I think that's it for the platform jumper. If you get all that done, you're done for now. We're going to do chapter 5.